Welcome to WordPath, the show about Oklahoma Indian languages and the people who are teaching and preserving them. Tonight, we'll see the Intertribal Wordpath Society's Bookmarks reception for Margaret Mauldin on the occasion of the publication of her Creek Dictionary, co-authored with linguist Jack Martin of the College of William and Mary. The title of the dictionary is A Dictionary of Creek Muscogee, and it's published by the University of Nebraska Press. I'll tell you how to get more information about it at the end of the show. This reception was held November 17, 2001 at the Jacobson House in Norman. The place was full to the gills. Many in attendance were students of Margaret or of her daughter Gloria McCarty at OU. They both teach Creek there. So when Margaret had to be a little bit late due to car trouble, Gloria led the group in singing Creek hymns. What a thrill. Just listen.
The program for today is that Margaret will talk about her recent publication. She's co-authored of a major Creek dictionary, the first major dictionary since 1890, I'm told, on the website of the University of Nebraska Press. And she co-authored it with a non-Indian linguist named Jack Martin, who's a friend of mine actually from graduate school at UCLA. And so they've been working together. She'll tell you all about this, but just to give you the brief idea of the program today, they worked together for about 10 years in Florida and in Oklahoma with all the Muscogee, Seminole Creek speakers they could find, put together this tremendous dictionary. The last I heard, it was actually out of print, so we may not have a book signing today. It is a little pricey too. I hope she won't mind if I say that. Major dictionaries and grammars often are, it's sort of an academic press kind of thing. I think the price was about $60. I think it was $60. It was on their website the other day. I heard that it was out of print, but on the website it no longer says so. So if you're a serious student of the Creek language and culture, I would recommend, ask for it for Christmas, get it somehow. It may or may not be back in print, but I'm sure it will be soon if it's not yet. But also another thing to remember is that, you all have local academic departments or public libraries or other, cultural institutions that might have somewhat of a library or even a very large library. I would recommend, whenever you get a chance to recommend to libraries and so forth, that they get in touch with the University of Nebraska Press and get a copy of that. That way, since it is, not just a $10 paperback, that way more people will have access to it. I haven't yet called up Norman Public Library, for instance, but I really think that they should have at least one copy of this as soon as possible. So please spread the word in that fashion.
Hallelujah, Yahweh, please, hallelujah. Make yourself okay, on the pokies, hallelujah. Make yourself okay, on the pokies, Jesus, Agathis. Ingana Troyaskat. Ingana Troyaskat. Homo nescomet awasken Jesus. Legana Agathis. Ingana Tiflaten. Ingana Tiflaten. Homo nescomet awasken Jesus. Legana Agathis.
Do you know how rare it is to hear so many young people singing in Creek, and how wonderful it was to hear them sing those hymns so well? Once Margaret Mauldin arrived, she talked about her many years of research, which culminated in the publication of the dictionary, and this will be the bulk of our program tonight. Before we roll this, though, I just want to apologize for the fact that some of this video is very light. I didn't light it well, and there's a little blank in the tape when we had to change tapes, but most of the content will be, I think, very valuable nevertheless.
Well, I'm trying to calm down here. Let's go ahead and do Momes Gomet. I have to do this one. Okay, we always have a fight over who's going to start it, so I guess I'll start it. Or can you start it?
Momes Gomet Agathis. Shemojagis. Momes Gomet Agathis. Ekad. Shemojagis. Mikosavokia Diana. Ekad. Shemojagis. Mikosavokia Diana. Ekad. Shemojagis. Momes Gomet Agathis. Ekad. Shemojagis. Momes Gomet Agathis. Ekad. Shemojagis.
Thank you, that was very good. This is a Creek student, but I've not met him. It's a Creek 1 student. What's your name?
Mark.
Mark, thank you very much. I'll give you a little history on the Creek Dictionary, and I'm sorry that I'm not able to have copies here to purchase or to sign. You know, I grew up in such poverty that, $5 was an awesome amount when I was a kid, $10. And over time, it just really shocked me that the tooth fairy, would come and there'd be a requirement that, hey, I want $1 under my pillow. And then it was $5, my goodness, for a tooth. We were so happy to have a dime. But in these times, you get adjusted to life in a way that I think for so many of us, you realize reality a long time before you're grown. And I grew up this way, and I've never been extravagant. I just can't do it. I see nothing wrong with it, so I'm going to stay the way I am. It's a lot simpler. But in saying all that, I just wanted you to know that when this dictionary was published, we knew that it would run in the range of $40, $50. Well, it comes out at $60 a copy. And I've had a lot of scholars to talk with me and tell me, this is nothing. This is a scholarly book. It's a dictionary. There's not been a dictionary. There's not another one like this. Here's one here that was printed in 1890, and that's all that we've ever had. And so because of the communication between linguists or anyone gathering language data, in order to do this, there were a lot of errors. I can go through here today, and because I go through here and I can laugh about some of these words, the definitions, even the way they're spelled, that when you go back and you think about it, it's no wonder there are mistakes, because if any of you went out today and decided to gather data for a dictionary, and that you're going to be the one to put it together because this person that you're going to be working with, or the persons you're going to be working with, do not write their language, they don't read it, and they don't know definitions exactly like you do. So if you said, you know, what is this? What do you call this? Somebody might say, oh, that's wood. That's wood. So you'd write down wood. How do you know that it isn't? And then you might say to another person, what is this? And it's a mantle. A mantle. You have wood and a mantle. And then you go along somebody and you'd say, what is this? And they'd say, it's painted wood. You know, and you don't know what they mean by painted in their language. You have no idea what these words mean. You just write down what you hear. So in putting this dictionary together, someone was mighty, mighty brave, because I don't believe there was ambition exactly here. Couldn't have been for money. And this is where we make a mistake. Most linguists, I'd say majority of linguists in that field, they're not rich people. They'll never be rich people. If you do language work, I don't think you'll ever be rich, or anywhere near it. When I started language work, I wasn't aware of what a grave, grave situation our language was in, or my language. I was away from home for about 30 years. I kept in touch with my family, so we'd speak Creek when we'd get together. And then I'd go back out of our family area, and you know, over the years, I didn't realize that Creek was dying. I mean, in massive numbers. By the end of the year, I don't know how many fluent speakers we would lose. We are about a 50,000 member tribe. Yet, I think probably we don't have good numbers, that I would say 3,000 to 6,000 speakers today at different levels of fluency. And it's people who are near their 50s or over. So that means if something happened today, probably church, all the older people, 50 and over, were at church, and we all got wiped out, you wouldn't hear much Creek. That would be the end of it. Unless somebody had the gumption to sit down now, and out of you students, now in Creek 3, you could pick up the work today and do the job. You know how the language is structured. You know how to form sentences. You have dictionaries, and especially now you have this one. It's very user friendly. If you are familiar at all with linguistics, it has linguistic markings that you can do the language very well. Do we have another chair? Is that one?
Yeah, there's two of them on.
So I'm very proud to say that this dictionary to me it represents more than work. This is a possibility for preserving our language and even reviving it, because hopefully there'll be nothing to wipe us old people out, and that there'll be enough around that can give you help. But my interest and my whole life, I've committed to language revival, and that goes beyond what I've done already. I want to save all the hymns. I have a hymn project going all the time. I hope that OU will someday publish my hymns, which will be about 70 to 75. And we have one chair. Do we have another? Is there another one? I don't need mine.
Don't worry about it.
Go ahead, Eric.
It's all right.
This might be the only time female will be a chair.
Okay.
Regulars? Let's have that. Okay. So dictionary work is very consuming. When I realized that something had to be done, I had no idea where to start. And you know, I do know one thing. I made my decision on a full stomach. I decided to quit all of my salary work. I decided to just give it all up. Get me some legal pads and some pens and pencils. Actually, I had to just put my pens down because it's pencils that I had to use. So many corrections to make. You go back and you have to do things over. And instead of writing the whole thing, I found out that it was better to erase a syllable or something, you know. So I love nice pencils now. Well, in doing this work, I became very, I'm like a hermit, a recluse, one of those two. But I live in this town, Okemah. I was raised there, and I've gone back there. And I don't know very many people, just the people my age. I don't know their children, and I know, and the older people, of course, are dying at such a rate that I know a few elderly people. But no one sees me because I'm always in my work. I work 7 days a week. Many days is, I put in 10 hours a day. That you would do the same thing if you had no English dictionary and you ran into very few people that spoke English and you knew you had to do something to preserve the language, to stop the loss right now and try to build it back, and then try to get people interested in speaking it again. There are a lot of people who sympathize with the situation. I was going to say me, but not exactly, because they don't really know what I do. And I sit and I work, and I have my children would call me and ask me if I ate today, and honestly, some days I've forgotten. I've been doing this now for like 8-9 years, but it's still exciting to me. I get into the work, and I don't care what else is going on in the world. I'm doing my work. Of course, till a football game comes on, but I can run it again. But it's just my life. So I can talk about language work, and it can sound, it might not sound exciting, but I can be excited about it. I'm excited about it. Some days I just feel like, oh, if I could just get this done, if I could get that done. And I've been working hard, especially since I began teaching here at OU in '95. And right off the bat, I had to teach 3 courses, level 1, 2, and 3. And all I had to begin with was a legal pad and a bunch of pencils. So, in designing the classes, the curriculum, the materials, it was awesome. It was just an overwhelmingly awesome job. And I honestly didn't sleep during those first 2 or 3 years. I don't know when I slept. I'd look at the clock, and it'd be 2:30, and I knew I had to get up at 5. So there were days like that, but it was important to me. It's so important, and it still is. I wouldn't ask anyone else to do this, and no one's asked me to do it. But it's a big thing to me, because 10,000 years from now, when they dig us up, I want them to find a whole language. They're going to say, hey, here were some creeks. And they had a whole language. It's an awesome language. It was good. It was complete. That's what I want to know that I have done. I've left something here to show that we were here. We were a people with a language, a good language, a beautiful language. And, you know, every tribe, I'm not talking only about Indians, but every tribe has their language. And I know, and I hope they feel that it's as beautiful as I think Creek is. But I think Creek is the prettiest. You know, when you hear it spoken, it is just beautiful. I can't remember all the words to this little story that a school teacher, she was not Indian, we were in a big workshop, and she wrote it and had me to read it on a TV show, some TV show back when. That, you know, when I read it, this was a room full of adults, and not one sound. When I got through reading it, they just couldn't tell me enough how beautiful this was. And it was like it was verified. It's a beautiful language. It's not difficult. The mechanics of it, of course, any language, the mechanics is difficult to learn, probably. So when we struggle and we learn these mechanics, and then we start using our language each year, each semester gets a little better and better. We know now what can fit into the curriculum for Creek 1, and what will fit into Creek 2 and 3 we're working on. It'll soon be a very full semester of knowing exactly what to do. And all the students here have been like lab rats, you know, what works and what doesn't. And I'm grateful for that. They've stuck with us. They perform very well. They're very good students. Actually, we haven't had any bad students in these classes, and we had warnings that this is the kind of students we would get, you know, kind of the drudge of everything. But, you know, or is it dredge? It's been a long time. I used to hear this when you boiled your coffee, you know, the big pots over the fires.
Dregs.
It didn't count now.
Dregs.
Dregs. Okay, dregs. I didn't drink coffee then.
This is my word for it.
By the way, that's not in my dictionary, okay? Dregs.
Next edition.
That's true. So, in doing this dictionary, since this one is just almost, it's okay. I turned to this a lot. What did they say back then, you know? But, and then somewhere in there before I got into language work, I was an over-the-road long-haul truck driver. I just worked at anything that would pay. I spent years on the road. And I remember there's a song that says, I'll never come back here anymore. You know, I'll never go back there, meaning a world of sin. Since Creeks only have hymns, we don't have the everyday songs, we don't have the play songs, we don't have any of that left, we just have our hymns. So I would sing to myself on the road a lot, just Creek songs, not just Creek songs, but you know, in this song I'd say, Sana Joma, you know, saying, I won't be back. Now, as I was talking about New York, New Jersey, as I headed west, this is a song I was singing. So there were instances, you know, I just had my favorite songs. Where was I, you know, when I did that one? But when I got home and I realized the songs were dying too, you know, I was just heartbroken. So all of that, and the feelings, the emotions that I have about my language is why I did the work. Now, like I said, my dictionary is kind of pricey to me, but a lot have sold. I think Borders may still have some, and they're going into a second printing. And so they are about $60 no matter where they are. But you will really enjoy it. Anybody that is into serious language work, you can come on up and look at the work that's here. And I was going to tell you about one incident that really woke me up to about how consuming this work is. Jack Martin comes and spends every summer with me. We finished the dictionary now, but there's so much other work that we need to do. So he was with me one summer, and we were just on the tail end of the work, and it was just getting really to the point where, you know, you're just awake all night. I'd get up at night and write several pages of things just to see if we had these words. And so we'd go to Brahms for our break, our socializing out in the world with real people, you know, because we never saw anyone. I don't have visitors. People don't even realize I live there anymore. So we would work, and then we'd go to Brahms every night. That was in the next town, Henrietta. So we walked in there, and I was just nervous. I mean, I was thinking, what other words do we not have? And so then the little girl walked up to me, and I guess she asked me if she could help me. And I was thinking, forehead, eyebrows, eyelashes, eyelids. And I was just coming down her face. And she says, ma'am? I realized that she'd already asked me. So this is how intense that you can be about things, and I have been about this work, and I'm so glad it's done. I don't know that there'll be a revision. There can be. But I just want you to know that it isn't easy. If you decide you want to do a dictionary, then you're saying, I'm willing to do a lot of work.
Get Margaret's dictionary if you can, or ask your libraries to get it. See you next time on WordPath.
Na hele yo hele, na hele yo hele, ana magwana kita, wa pene madaole kita. Na hele yo hele, na hele yo hele, ana magwana kita, wa pene madaole kita. Na hele yo hele, na hele yo hele, ana magwana kita, wa pene madaole kita. Na hele yo hele, na hele yo hele, ana magwana kita, wa pene madaole kita. Na hele yo hele, na hele yo hele, ana magwana kita, wa pene madaole kita. Na hele yo hele, na hele yo hele, ana magwana kita, wa pene madaole kita.